Hey there guys, it's DMO73 bringing you the second part of my Moon Priestess Returns set review. This is the light section, so click on the annotations around to go to the other sections, or stay here if you want to talk about light. Let's jump right in with the ruler, a new version of Pandora. Pandora, the Weaver of Myth. First off, this art is gorgeous, just gonna say it. Probably my favorite piece of art so far in the whole game. Ruler Princess. Pay 5 light to J-activate, but if your light is 3,000 or less, you pay 4 light. If your life is 2,000 or less, pay 2 life. If your life is 1,000 or less, pay 0 instead. So, first off, this is a J-ruler that is meant to be activated later in game, the more risky, the more in danger you are, or you play a deck designed to throw your life points down as close to 0 as possible, so you can play her as fast as possible. So, a lot of different options there. And the J-ruler side is Grimia, the Savior of Myth. Also amazing artwork. Light J-ruler avatar, so that's pretty awesome. Continuous. Whenever this card attacks, you may search your deck for an addition J/Resonator and add it to this card, then shuffle your main deck. This is very interesting. As it stands right now, we don't have a lot of addition J/Resonators in the game. We have one, I believe, that's going to be coming out with this set, so that's pretty much what you're going to grab, but later that could be do a whole lot of stuff. And then activate pay 1 light. This card gains swiftness and target attack until end of turn. So, being able to be at 0 life, pay 1 light, give it swiftness, target attack, swing at something, grab an addition, put it onto Grimia. A lot of really ridiculous plays you can do with this, and it's going to be really cool. And then pay 2 light, banish an addition added to this card, and then rest up to 2 target JResonators. So also being able to control the board state that way, you could even use the addition that you just attached to Grimia the previous turn. So that is pretty cool. I can't wait to see what happens there. Moving on, we have I, the Pilot. We've talked about this before. We're going to go over it again just to be safe. 3-drop, light, Fairy Tale Prince, 800, 800, with an awakening of pay a light and a colorless. Search your main deck for a card named Little Prince, put it onto your field, and trigger its enter ability. That's nuts. Enter, rest, target Resonator your opponent controls. So automatically it rests something, plus it gets you an extra body, and Little Prince is pretty broken in his effect too. And then whenever Little Prince is put into the graveyard from your field, you also gain 1,000 life. So really good synergy. It's going to be great for Grimia kind of rush down decks, I think, because let's go ahead and jump at Little Prince and see what he does. Little Prince is a 2-drop light, 2/2, pretty little tiny guy. And then this card gains 400, 400 for each total cost among Resonators you control that don't share this card's total cost. So automatically with I, the Pilot, it's going to become a 6/6 because the total cost of I, the Pilot is 3. So that's pretty awesome. And then with every other thing that doesn't share its cost, every different total that doesn't share 2 as its cost will give him an extra 4/4. And then if your life is 1,000 or less, you gain 1,000 life. So again, that kind of rush down for Grimia, get your life down as low as possible, play Little Prince, recover your life as fast as possible. I'm just going to call it like the bungee jump deck, and I think that's going to be pretty interesting to see what it does. Moving on, we have Abel, the Avenger of Gods, kind of the anti-card to Cain. It has a 3-drop 700, 700 human with target attack automatically. You can banish 2 light Resonators instead of these 3 costs here to summon him. And then his awakening is a 4-cost awakening. 2 light, 2 of any color. Destroy all other Resonators. Nuke the board. Pretty good. And especially with the incarnation stuff. I mean, you'll need a lot, but you could potentially nuke the board on turn 4. So he's like a mini Pandora of light, but also a body with target attack. It's just good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of things come out of here. Then we also have the Apostle of Paradise. We had before the Apostle of Cain in the red. This is the kind of Apostle that goes along with Abel. 2-drop light fantasy, 400, 400. As long as you control Abel, the Avenger of Gods, they can't be destroyed. So yay! So think about it this way. You use Abel, you use his incarnation effect with some of the other guys and pay your awakening to blow everything up. but everything else on your side of the field is a bunch of Apostles of Paradise, which don't get destroyed as long as you control Abel. So you nuke the board, except you're really only nuking your opponent's side of the board, and then you can just swing in for tons of damage. That's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a really unique thing to kind of see happen, and so I'm definitely pumped for that. This card is... it's so vanilla, but I love it so much. It's Holy Warrior of Hope, 1-drop human light resonator, 1-drop 4/4. Just, that's it. That's plain and simple. It is a 1-drop 4/4 light resonator. By itself, a 4/4 on turn 1 is nuts, but also the fact that it's only a 1-drop, so it makes great plays for Abel or anything else that requires, you know, having a light incarnation. It's just so good, and I'm so excited that Light got something like this. Moving on to some of the kind of the more specific cards. This is Jackal the Order, plays along with Hyde the Chaos, which we talked about in a spoiler video. I've talked about it before, so I won't really go over it as much in terms of what I think it's going to do, but it's just a simple 2-drop light, 5/5, enter, you gain 100 life, pay a dark, banish it, search your main deck for Hyde, put it onto your field, and trigger its enter ability. So that kind of recycling between him and Hyde is pretty much what he's designed to do. And, I mean, again, Butler deck. We have a lot of people who look kind of like Butler-esque, so this is going to be, again, pretty cool for that. Moving on, we have Mind Reading Fox, 4-drop, 8/8, untargetable. Just blanket untargetable. But only things that your opponent controls. So, like, you can pump it up with additions or spells or anything you want. So it's just completely protected by your opponent's cards. It's a really solid mid-range card and is beautiful artwork. And I think it's going to be really, really cool to see what people can come up with the ridiculous things they can do with this card. Then we have Speaker of Creation. When she enters, you search your main deck for an addition field and put it into your hand. And you can pay 1 and banish her to destroy an addition field. This is going to be really good for not having to use so many Dreams of Juliet, which I know is a card that I've seen a lot of play lately because of addition removal. This is going to be great for that. Plus with Genesis, Book of Creation, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. Like, this is going to help you search that out super fast. And it's not terrible. It's not meant for attacking. It's meant to blow stuff up and search your deck. So it's your searcher tutor with a 400 defense, and it's not human. So yay for that. Less things for Joan of Arc to destroy. Again, probably going to be a pretty staple card in any kind of Grimia deck. White Spirit, 2-drop 5/5 Spirit. Enter, gain 500 life. So simple body, good stats, and life gain. Pretty simple, straightforward. Going to be, I think, pretty important in a lot of Grimia decks or other things as well. Plus, I think it's also going to be a really good side deck card for any deck splashing light, just in case you find out you're playing against a bird player. So that's pretty awesome. Moving on to the spells, we have Exceed the Light, a 2-drop light instant. When target resonator you control is put into the graveyard, search your main deck for a resonator with the same total cost, put it into your field. So you get to replace stuff. It's great for when you're making plays with like Cinderella or Jekyll and Hyde or all kinds of stuff. Even like Gilderai. Like play, you know, your Gilderai dies. You know, you played Exceed the Light on it. Get a new Gilderai. Bring back your other Gilderai with your stone. Suddenly you have 2 Gilderai, both with swiftness and flying. And that's, I don't know, there's all kinds of goofy plays that I think are going to happen with this, and I can't wait to see what people come up with. Then we have Savior of Splendor! 1-drop, spell chant instant. The perfect side deck tech card against darkness. Removes target darkness resonator from the game. Just doesn't matter what its stats are, doesn't matter anything like that, just pop. I think this is really great because light by itself didn't have a lot of removal. It is specifically darkness, which is not amazing, but at least it's something for light to be able to have some kind of spot removal as well without having to play Grim the Avenger. This is going to be just a really nice side deck card, I think, for any deck. Just flash a couple of them in there, especially if you're playing like Wizard of Oz, because Oz the Great Magician can search for it because it's just a 1-drop spell. So playing Oz, suddenly you're playing against a darkness deck, just splash in your Saviors game 2 and just wreck everything.
Genesis Creation, 4-drop spell.
Put 1 up to 1 addition field and up to 1 target resonator from your graveyard into the field, and put up to 1 target magic stone from your graveyard into your magic stone area. This is like the anti-Bloody Moon card. Like, pay 4, bring back a magic stone that was hit with Bloody Moon, put an addition field, like the Book of Creation, into your field, and a resonator. There's no restriction on what kind, there's no restriction on what kind, there's no restriction on what kind. Like, it's a huge investment, and so if it gets canceled, you're pretty much screwed. But if you can play this off, it's going to be an instant +3, and it's going to be really, really cool. So that's going to be interesting. Plus, heck, God getting the quote right there. Yeah, it's not necessarily a direct quote, but I mean, that's kind of cool. And then, speaking of the Book of Genesis, addition field, again, 4-drop. At the beginning of your main phase, put a creation counter on this card. Then, if this card has 6 or less creation counters on it, search your main deck for a resonator with total cost equal to the number of creation counters on this card and put it into your field. Then shuffle your main deck. So, it starts off kind of slow, because you only get 1 counter, but you hit 3 or 4 counters, and boom! Deck off like a rocket. I think this card is really going to be good with some of the dual color cards we have that do some interesting plays with counters and removing them and modulating and stuff. Free cards are never a bad thing, and so that's what this card is designed to do, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I mentioned before that we have like 1 edition JResonator, that this is it. This is Ragnarok, the Divine Save Sword of Savior. Continuous added JResonator gets plus 500, 500. It's a 3-drop, so it's not terrible. If a resonator dealt damage by JResonator, would be put into graveyard, remove it from the game, and you gain life equal to its defense. So this is what I'm talking about with Grimea. Like, rush down your life really fast, make Grimea, equip Ragnarok, kill their biggest creature with swiftness and target attack, and then bam, free instant life gain to put you back in the game, middle of your life kind of thing. I think that's the pretty standard play, but I think people are going to come up with even better ways to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of goofiness that people do with Ragnarok. This spell is also really good, I think, for light. Just a 1-drop Seal of Grimea, added resonator, can't attack. Let me just turn off one of your monsters. We were talking again about light needing some kind of spot recovery, spot removal. This is it. I mean, we just lock down one of your monsters. They can still block, but I mean, play this on a Pied Piper of Hamelin and watch the Hamelin train crash and go off the rails. Like, you can derail your opponent's momentum pretty fast with this. So I'm looking forward to seeing everything that has to offer. And then the last one we talked about before, Sweet Rose. Put it on it gains 300, 300, but put it on a Prince and it gains 600, 600 in target attack. That's nuts. We have a lot of good Princes out right now, and we're getting even more with Moon Priestess Returns. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this gets used to make Princes be a deck that can be played all their own. You know, happily ever after, play a deck like that where it's just nothing but princesses and princes. That would be super fun, I think. With Sweet Rose, it becomes much more viable. So yeah, that is it for the light set. Again, click the annotations around the video to be taken to the next sections. And as always, guys, this is DMO73 signing off.